Now, yesterday, Donald Trump outlined his plan to eventually rescind DACA. That's the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Now, that was, of course, started by the Obama administration in order to allow children of undocumented immigrants who were brought here to live here as children to still live and work in the United States without fear of being deported. Now, Attorney General Jeff Sessions yesterday told reporters that they would no longer be processing new applications and that in 6 months that program would end, while saying that Congress, well, you can work on your own DACA replacement. That's not our job. It's not the it's not the executive branch's job. That's Congress's job. So figure out something. Okay. Now, Trump, for his part, tweeted, "Congress, it's time to do your jobs." So, look, that's publicly, right? Publicly, Trump is against, or at least was against DACA as it stood. And the administration says, well, it's just unconstitutional. We've got to have it go through the Congress. Okay. Now, privately, Trump might have actually been very confused about what this whole order meant. Now, the New York Times reported on Tuesday that administration officials privately raised concerns as late as 1 hour before the announcement about Trump's understanding of the effects of rescinding DACA. They expressed concern that Mr. Trump might not fully grasp the details of the steps he was about to take, and when he discovered their full impact, would actually change his mind. According to a person familiar with their thinking, who was not authorized to comment on it and spoke on the condition of anonymity. Now, that's very interesting. Or at least it would be if we had a normal president. Instead, we have somebody who doesn't read policy. Policy bores him. It's got to be delivered in tweet-sized length, or less than a half a page with graphics and maps, and his name sprinkled throughout it. Otherwise, he won't read it. He's just bored. Okay? Now, instead, Trump watches Fox News. Now, Fox News, they happen to not be in favor of DACA, as a lot of the right wing is. Now, what's ironic about this situation is that once on Fox News, Trump had spoken in support of Dreamers. Now, this was back in 2011. I'm going to show you that clip here.
You asked Michelle to actually physically go across the street and tell the family of 25 years to get out of this country, she wouldn't do it because she's a good person.
But here's the problem with Mitt Romney in this situation. He came out and say it's a magnet and he disagrees. But in 2007, he was calling for the same exact thing. Newt Gingrich fired back and said, here's your clip from Meet the Press from 3 years ago. Does that bother you?
Well, actually, he didn't strongly disagree. And in fact, a lot of people are really curious as to when he'll say something because, you know, I just saw something on television where they were saying that he really hasn't taken a stance or a very strong stance yet, and he hasn't said anything about what Newt said. So let's see what he says. But look, this is a matter of this isn't conservative. I'm the world's most conservative person. This isn't conservative. This is compassion.
Is it amnesty?
I guess to a certain extent, for a very limited number of people, it would be considered amnesty. But how do you tell a family that's been here for 25 years to get out?
That's tough.
Or if their kids are born here, they stay, the parents leave, and that's what Newt Gingrich's contention is. How can you be the party that is pro-family and dividing the family?
That's a good question. How can you be pro-family when you're dividing the family? Now, apparently, Fox News is singing a different tune, as is at least most of the administration. Now, I want to show you one more clip here. Again, this is one of Trump's past statements. This is when he was on Squawk Box on CNBC. Let's watch.
As an example, you have people in this country for 20 years. They've done a great job. They've done wonderfully. They've gone to school. They've gotten good marks. They're productive. Now we're supposed to send them out of the country? I don't believe in that, Michelle, and you understand that. I don't believe in a lot of things that are being said.
Again, that's very interesting to have that position. Now, yesterday, he also promised to revisit the issue within 6 months if Congress doesn't do anything. Again, very interesting. Now, what do I think about this? A little confusing, to be honest with you, because, again, he says one thing, he does another. But what if this entire thing, and again, this is a hypothetical question, what if this is just Trump brand incompetence? Maybe he doesn't actually understand the policy. Maybe he doesn't understand what it means. Maybe he's being pressured by conservatives and that maybe it's true that the fact that those 10 conservative governments were planning on suing the Trump administration over DACA put him into an untenable position. Who knows? Maybe he actually is okay with Dreamers and thinks that Congress will actually do something. Look, that's not far-fetched because, again, Trump doesn't understand how Congress works and how little can actually get done within 6 months. So, look, I'm being incredibly kind here. I'm being unseasonably kind to the Trump administration, but this is based on the information I have. Now, that still doesn't mean that I don't think Trump is racist. I do think he's racist. But I also think that it's possible that his decision to end DACA is less about blatant racism and more about maybe other factors, okay? I mean, the New York Times also reported that just after the angry reaction to Trump's decision, the president appeared to have second thoughts. In a late evening tweet, Mr. Trump specifically called on Congress to legalize DACA, something his administration's officials had declined to do earlier in that day. I don't know. So there is that. So whether or not this is incompetence or pressure, I don't know. But if incompetence is your best defense that you have against ending a program that defends people brought here through no fault of their own and have since grown to become successful and productive Americans, well, that's fairly bad. Okay. Now, at the worst, of course, ending this program is cruel and racist. At its best, it's because the president, while still also kind of racist, is also really dumb. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.